Here's something that sounds a bit mad until you actually stop and think about it. The cheapest car Toyota sells and the fastest car Toyota sells wear the exact same badge on the bonnet. One of them costs around $23,000 and will still be starting first time at 300,000 miles. The other hits 60 miles an hour in under 4 seconds and borrows its engine from BMW. Same brand, same showroom, two completely different planets. And that's the thing almost nobody tells you about Toyota. Everyone treats it like one flat, gray, sensible appliance. The car you buy when you've given up on excitement and just want something that starts on a cold morning. But there is a hidden ladder running right through this brand, 7 rungs from the humble Corolla all the way up to the GR Supra, and most people have absolutely no idea where the real value actually sits. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which level is worth your money, which levels are quietly brilliant, and which one nearly everybody overpays for. So let's draw the lines properly. These are the 7 levels of Toyota, cheapest to most expensive. Level 1, the entry compact. This is Toyota's front door, and it's held open by one nameplate that has genuinely earned legend status, the Corolla. Now, the Corolla gets laughed at. It's the punchline. The car your driving instructor had, the car your nan drives to the shops. But here's the reality check. Toyota has sold something like 50 million of these things. 50 million. That is not an accident. That is the single best-selling car in the history of the planet, and it got there by doing one thing better than anyone else: not braking. A base Corolla in 2026 starts around $23,000. For that, you get a 2-liter 4-cylinder making about 169 horsepower. Or you step up to the Corolla Hybrid, which is honestly the one I'd point most people towards. It pairs a smaller petrol engine with electric motors, makes around 138 horsepower, and returns roughly 50 miles to the gallon in the real world, not on a test track. In your actual life, doing the school run, and sitting in traffic. There's also the Corolla hatchback if you want a bit more style, and the Corolla Cross if you want the same recipe jacked up into a little crossover for about 25 grand. Here's what people get wrong about Level 1. They think it's a compromise, a watered-down car. It isn't. It's the entire foundation the rest of the brand is built on. Every clever hybrid system, every reliability record, every quiet win Toyota banks further up the range was proven right here first. The Corolla isn't the boring bit before the good stuff. It is the reason the good stuff exists. If your priority is a car that costs almost nothing to run and will never once leave you stranded, you could stop watching right here. Genuinely. Level 2, the core. This is the beating heart of Toyota, the level that pays the bills and fills the car parks of the entire Western world. 3 names live here: the Camry sedan, the RAV4, and the Highlander, and this is where Toyota goes from sensible to properly, quietly impressive. Start with the Camry. As of the latest generation, the Camry is hybrid only. Every single one. Prices open around $29,000. You get roughly 225 horsepower from the front-wheel drive version, a little more if you add electric all-wheel drive, and it sips fuel like something half its size, nudging 50 miles per gallon. This is the car your parents should buy instead of chasing a German badge. It's spacious, it's smooth, it's whisper quiet on the motorway, and it will outlast the mortgage. Then there's the RAV4, which is the real quiet giant. It has become one of the best-selling vehicles in America, full stop, not just among Toyotas. Starts around $30,000, does everything a normal family actually needs, and the plug-in hybrid version, the RAV4 Prime, is a genuinely quick car that most people completely overlook. And above that sits the Highlander, Toyota's 3-row family hauler, opening around $41,000 for people who need to move 7 bodies without remortgaging. The mistake people make at Level 2 is thinking they need to spend more to get something better. They don't. For the vast majority of buyers, a hybrid Camry or a RAV4 is the smartest single purchase in the whole Toyota range. This is peak value. Everything above this level is you buying capability or emotion, not sense. Keep that in your back pocket because it matters when we get near the top. Level 3, the hybrid pioneers. Now, I've split this out on purpose because Toyota deserves it. Long before every other manufacturer suddenly discovered electrification and started slapping the word hybrid on everything, Toyota had already been doing it for over 2 decades, and they proved it with a car the whole internet loved to hate. The Prius. The Prius spent years as the world's most mocked car. And then a funny thing happened. The current one turned up looking genuinely sharp, low and sleek instead of frumpy, making close to 194 horsepower, returning an almost unbelievable 57 miles per gallon, and suddenly nobody was laughing anymore. Prices sit around $28,000. There's a plug-in version, the Prius Prime, that gives you around 40 miles of pure electric range, which, for a lot of people, covers the entire daily commute on electrons alone, then switches to petrol the moment you need to go further. No range anxiety, no compromise. And then there's the strange one, the Mirai. This is Toyota's hydrogen fuel cell car. It looks like a proper luxury sedan, costs around $50,000, and instead of burning petrol or plugging into the wall, it makes its own electricity from hydrogen and emits nothing but water. Over 400 miles of range, fill up in 5 minutes. It's a technological flex, a glimpse of a future that may or may not arrive. And honestly, the infrastructure isn't there yet, so it's a hard sell, but it tells you exactly how Toyota thinks. They don't chase trends. They build the future quietly and wait for the world to catch up, which, on hybrids, it absolutely did. Level 4. The workhorses. Now we leave the tarmac behind and get into the stuff that made Toyota bulletproof in the eyes of people who actually work their vehicles hard. The trucks. 2 of them, the Tacoma and the Tundra. The Tacoma is the mid-size pickup that developed an almost religious following, and it got a full ground-up redesign recently. Gone is the old lazy engine. In comes a turbocharged 2.4-liter 4-cylinder, and at the top of the range there's an I-Force Max hybrid version, making around 326 horsepower. Prices start around $32,000. The reason people are obsessed with the Tacoma isn't outright power. It's what happens years later. These trucks hold their value in a way that genuinely annoys the competition. A well-kept Tacoma can be worth frightening money secondhand because everyone knows it'll just keep going. The Tundra is the full-size beast. Toyota threw out the old V8 and replaced it with a twin-turbocharged 3.4-liter V6. And in I-Force Max hybrid form, it makes around 437 horsepower and can tow roughly 12,000 pounds. Starts around $41,000. Now, purists moaned about losing the V8 rumble, and I get it, but the new engine is quicker, more efficient, and pulls harder. This is Toyota doing what Toyota does, ignoring the noise and building the better tool. If you actually tow, actually haul, actually need a truck to be a truck for 15 years, this level is where your money is very well spent. Level 5, the off-road legends. This, for a lot of enthusiasts, is where Toyota becomes untouchable. Because these aren't soft crossovers pretending to be adventurous. These are proper body-on-frame, go-anywhere, cross-a-continent machines. The 4Runner, the Sequoia, and the returning king, the Land Cruiser. The 4Runner is the one that inspires genuine loyalty. It was famously old school for years, and people loved it precisely because it never changed. Now there's an all-new one, riding on the same tough underpinnings as the trucks, with turbocharged and hybrid power starting around $42,000. It's the SUV people buy and keep for a decade because it simply refuses to die. The Sequoia is the big 3-row version, twin-turbo V6 hybrid, around 437 horsepower, opening in the mid-60s. And then there's the name that carries more off-road mythology than almost anything on Earth, the Land Cruiser. Toyota brought it back to America at a much more sensible price, around $57,000, with a turbocharged hybrid 4-cylinder making about 326 horsepower. Around the world, the Land Cruiser has a reputation for crossing deserts, jungles, and war zones, and coming out the other side. Aid agencies and expedition teams don't choose these by accident. They choose them because when you are 500 miles from the nearest help, reliability isn't a luxury, it's survival. That's what Level 5 is really selling. Not speed, trust. And if you've made it this far, you clearly care about actually understanding what you're paying for instead of just chasing a badge. Do me a quick favor and hit subscribe because the next 2 levels are where Toyota completely changes character and it catches almost everyone off guard. Drop a comment too and tell me which level you're actually shopping. I read them. Level 6. The GR performance cars, and this is the plot twist because for decades people assumed Toyota simply couldn't do fun. Sensible, yes. Reliable, obviously. Exciting, not a chance. And then Gazoo Racing, Toyota's in-house performance division, the initials GR you keep seeing, decided to prove everybody spectacularly wrong. Start with the GR86. Around $31,000 gets you a 2.4-liter flat 4 making 228 horsepower, sent to the rear wheels, with a proper manual gearbox. It is not fast on paper. That's the whole point. It's light, it's balanced, it talks to you through every input, and it's arguably one of the best pure driver's cars you can buy at any price. It's the car that reminds you driving is supposed to be fun. Then things get wild with the GR Corolla. Take that boring old Corolla we started with and hand it to the motorsport division. What comes out is a fire-breathing hot hatch with a 1.6-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine making 300 horsepower, all-wheel drive lifted straight out of rally car thinking, and a chassis that's been welded and stiffened until it's a different animal entirely. Around $39,000, the same nameplate that your Nan drives to the shops now makes 300 horsepower and can slide sideways through a corner. If that doesn't make you grin, check your pulse. This is the level where Toyota finally lets its hair down, and the reason it works is because that legendary reliability is baked in underneath. It's a mad, thrashable performance car that won't punish you with a repair bill every month, which brings us to the very top, level 7. The Halo. The car this whole channel of a video has been climbing towards, the GR Supra. The Supra name is sacred. Back in the 90s, the 4th generation Supra and its legendary 2JZ engine became the stuff of tuner mythology, a car people built to make 1,000 horsepower and still drive to work. When Toyota killed it, an entire generation mourned. So when they finally brought it back, the pressure was enormous. And they did something controversial. They built it with BMW. The current GR Supra uses a 3.0-liter turbocharged inline-6, the same fundamental engine you'll find in a BMW, making around 382 horsepower, launching to 60 in under 4 seconds. Prices sit around $57,000, and crucially, Toyota added a proper 6-speed manual gearbox for the purists who demanded it. There's also a cheaper 4-cylinder version around $45,000 if you want the look and the feel for less. Now, the purists still argue about the BMW connection, but get behind the wheel and the arguing tends to stop. It is fast, it is beautifully balanced, and it carries the weight of one of the most respected names in the entire car world. And to understand why Level 7 even exists, look right back to the 60s, to the Toyota 2000 GT, a jewel-like sports car so rare and so beautiful that surviving examples now sell for well over $1 million at auction. That car existed to prove Toyota could build something extraordinary when it wanted to. The GR Supra is the modern answer to that same question. It's Toyota saying, we can be sensible for 50 million Corollas, but when we choose to build a hero, we absolutely can. So where's the sweet spot? Where should your money actually go? Let me make it simple. For the vast majority of people, levels 1 through 3 are the real magic. A Corolla, a Camry, a RAV4, or a Prius. That's where Toyota delivers more genuine value than almost any brand on earth, and it's where that famous no-anxiety ownership lives. Level 4 and 5, the trucks and the off-roaders, are worth every penny if you actually use them for what they're built for, and a con if you just want the rugged look for the driveway. And levels 6 and 7, the GR cars and the Supra, those aren't about sense at all. They're about joy. You buy those because you want to, not because you need to, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that as long as you know that's the deal. That's the whole trick to understanding Toyota. Almost every brand sells you the dream of the car at the top. Toyota is one of the rare ones where the cheap one at the bottom might genuinely be the smartest thing in the entire building. The badge on a $23,000 Corolla and a $57,000 Supra is identical, and that badge means the same thing on both. It'll start tomorrow, and the day after, and the year after that. So tell me down in the comments, which level are you actually parked on? Are you a sensible Corolla and Camry person who thinks the GR stuff is a waste of money? Or are you desperate to hear a GR Supra pulled a red line? And which level would you spend your own cash on if I handed it to you right now? Let me know. Hit subscribe if this helped you finally see the whole ladder instead of just one rung, and I'll see you in the next one.